Come here, look at me. Look at me. That's it. Look at me. Hey. We might not flow through each other's veins, but we flow through each other's brains, you get me?
Please, I don't think that...
One more time, eh? For all time's sake. I just need to hear it. Before I lose you forever.
You're not serious.
Go on, say it. What am I? Your brother from...
Another lover.
And that is a clip from Half Man. It was written and created by Richard Gadd, who also stars in it. Richard, hello, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome to the show. How would you... Actually, do you like doing promotion? Is it the kind of thing that you're naturally at ease doing?
Oh, it's a good question. I do. I think I like it because my life is sort of exists, sitting in edit suites and being on film sets. And it feels like a nice, exciting thing because it's kind of like the pre-buzz to a show coming out. So it feels exciting. It feels nice to do.
And how does promoting Half Man feel as compared with when you were promoting Baby Reindeer, when there was buzz about it, but you didn't know, presumably, quite how big it was going to get? How different does this feel?
Well, I think with Baby Reindeer, I suppose it was the unknown. I was still sort of at that point. I wasn't as well known as I am now, and I suppose there was a lot of what's going to happen about sort of Baby Reindeer. Is it going to land? Isn't it going to land? And with this, like I'm just fully aware that there is expectation there now, and the following
Yes.
the footsteps of Baby Reindeer is a big thing, and so the feel of the press and doing the press feels the same, meeting people, chatting to people, all that kind of stuff. But I'm very aware that the expectations are very different now.
Of course. So introduce us to Half Man. As we start this conversation, what do we need to know, Richard?
Well, Half Man is essentially the life of Ruben and Niall, the two main characters, and it traverses through the decades in their lives, and it's how they fail to coexist, how they love each other, how they fight and fall out. And essentially the show is about the exploration of, I guess, male repression and male violence and male behavior. I just really wanted to dig deep inside the whole naughty subject and just try to get to grips with it in some way.
Yeah. So you play Ruben. Jamie Bell plays Niall. In the 80s scene, in the earlier scenes, played by Mitchell Robertson and Stuart Campbell, who put in fantastic performances. We realise pretty much straight away that Ruben is dangerous to be around. How would you describe Ruben, your character?
I think Ruben is I suppose the quintessential epitome of repressed male violence in a way, and I think that he's a man that does not like to be disempowered one iota, and his existence is a sort of reaction, without giving away spoilers, but he lives in a very reactive state where anything that's a dent on his masculinity, on his pride, results in very extreme behavior.
In as much as you can tell us, as people begin this series, what's happened to him? Can you tell us that?
I don't think I can say that at this stage. It's a that would be possibly too big a spoiler. But I think that I would say that let's just say that it's an exploration of male violence, the show, male repression, male damage. And I suppose I would say that there is contextualization or an exploration of where that might come from.
Yeah. So Jamie Bell, I mean, he kind of gets referred to, well, you call him Bambi, which is sort of like another reindeer. It's like a deer thing going on there. Anyway, but you call him Bambi, and he's sort of like a stepbrother. What is your relationship with Jamie Bell's character, Niall?
They, for better or for worse, need whatever the other one brings. There's a line in episode 2, which I think sums it up. One needs a head, the other needs a body. I don't think there's too much of a spoiler at this point. And I think that they both have what the other person lacks. One wishes to have the sort of physical dominance of the other, the kind of confidence, the charisma, the machismo. And then the other one probably wants to have the opportunity, the success, the ability, I suppose, that the other one has. They're polar opposites in a way, but at the same time, they're inextricably bound.
You have physically transformed, even just sitting there on the sofa in your t-shirt. You're a fine specimen.
Thank you.
What did you do to end up looking the way Ruben looks?
Well, I've actually lost a lot of Ruben weight since filming. I think I didn't want to lug all that mass around anymore. And then, of course, the motivation isn't there. And I'm in edit suites all day. So I've lost a bit of weight from Ruben. But I knew in order for people to buy me as Ruben, this kind of swaggering example of sort of masculine rage and violence, that I needed to change everything about myself. You know, I was rake thin when I did Baby Reindeer. And I knew I needed to transform if people were going to buy me as a sort of burly sort of epitome of masculinity. I knew I needed to physically transform as well as vocally transform, kind of everything about it. And so I went through an intense year of intense working out, dieting, all kinds of things. I committed to it to the fullest degree.